Okay, so built the first tent, you've spent a few days harvesting material, you're looking for something a bit bigger, maybe something that you could fit a few players in. Well, the next step in settlement is a bunkhouse. So this takes 4 leaves, 6 poppies, 12 dandelions, these could be any flowers, 18 dirt. All the previous are cosmetic. The main ones are these stripped logs or frames. Oak planks, these can vary a lot depending on the size of the building. Cobblestone, this is a flooring component, so. Then you have a lot of stairs. Lanterns, this is aesthetic. Oak shells, you could use trapdoors. Wool for the roof, also could be used hay. Oak fences, this is to go with the wool. And then a lot of beds and signs. These last 2 pieces are mostly static. So, let's get to building. Okay, so firstly you're going to plan out the floor layout. So, I'm going to make an L house. So this is going to go with just a bunch of planks, mostly. And I'm going to use stairs to make a bit of depth here. Because you see, the back will stay flat, but the outside will have this depth area to it. And then you're just going to continue this pattern as far as you want. I'm probably going to drag this out pretty far in one direction before taking into a corner to go back into that cleared area back there. You see this gap here? It's gonna make the windows above it and behind it different because you are changing it, the pattern, just in order to put those doors in. So yeah, let's just continue along here. So this is where you would stop if you wanted just a flat house, but I'm gonna pull it out another another full length. And then I'm just gonna start going back the other way, and I'll cut back in to make a kind of L in the framing. Okay, then I'm just gonna pull it out back towards the end here. Probably gonna actually cut in here in order to just go back to the original level. Yep, and then continue the pattern. You can do other patterns, or you could swap out these stairs for just regular planks. That is why there's so many planks in the chest as an option. Whatever. Oh yeah. So this you're gonna change, so it's just a 2 set, so it lines up with the door, because you're trying to get these logs up here to line up with the logs over here by the door, because this pattern is shorter than the full set. So I'm just gonna break this and then just move the log down one, fix up the pattern so that this matches the other side instead of, yeah, see, now that's in line, everything's fine. Gonna just cut out the floor here. This section's gonna be planks just under the door for ease of mobility, and then you're gonna bring these up either 2 or 3 blocks depending on how high you want the roof. These are just the pillars to mark out the second floor. We'll raise these again once we start working on the second floor, but for now, this is where you're going to start working from. Now I'm going to add a little bit more depth to the building in general, using stairs here. So, so you can add just like a backing wall here, so it looks like there's more internal framing, like the wall's a bit thinner, just something like this. And actually, I think I'm gonna add that to the outside, because I'm gonna furnish the inside later and give it more like depth that way, but the outside looks a bit blocky. So just add this up here, and then just a solid block panel above the top, so there's no gap. Okay. Now, to finish this pattern, we're going to add planks here and above, because we're going to turn these into windows. These windows, they are relatively safe. They won't stop skeletons from shooting arrows into the first floor, and they won't stop baby zombies from running up the panel. But some outside features we're going to add later will make it a lot more difficult for them, because we're going to add some flower boxes as well that their pathing doesn't work well with. So it will just be arrows in general that will be the problem, and if the area's lit up nicely, skeletons aren't going to get close enough. Now you could leave it open like this with just 2 shelf panels, see through, but I'm not much fond of that. I think actually, yeah. So it is going to be left a bit more open. You'll see mobs can go through the middle right now because the planter boxes aren't there and the 3rd row isn't. But this gives you a lot more visibility through each of the windows. It's just ease of use. And then this pattern up here on the tops helps give a bit more depth. It's the same pattern that was used for the bottom, where it's 1 plank and then 3 stairs in order to do it. So just continue that along, and it looks like you have a kind of recessed window, a windowsill, just a bit more character to the build. Now there are a couple of different ways you could do this. One of the ways I was planning to do was leave this bottom section open, except for maybe some flat back stairs, like the middle stairs that we're doing here in this pattern, and then using either fences or fence gates so that you could open them and look through. But with what we're going to be doing later with the garden sections, yeah, see, you would put this and then it would just make like a pattern in between. And if you had a gate, it would connect to both sides and you could open the middle to look out. But this, it gives you a lot more visibility with very little difference in protection, because it is mostly just arrows that you'll need to worry about. Okay, so this next section, this area here, this is going to be a stair landing, so it's going to be different to the rest of the main body first floor. So this section, after we clear it out, is just going to be cobblestone, but over here, where I'm clearing out currently, I'm going to try something else. This is going to be a bit more, this is going to be a very expensive pattern because it uses full logs instead of planks. You could just use planks. It'll look almost identical while being 4 times as cheap if you did the math. But this, I just like this a little bit more. This is why there's such a heavy, like, stripped log cost. You could also do full logs on the outside without it, and keep these as stripped logs to have a bit more difference in your palette. But I think after I get to a spruce biome in this world, I'll add spruce wood to it, and that'll be the difference about. So over here, all of this is going to be entrance and stair landing, so this is going to be more of a hard-wearing area. So this is all going to be cobblestone. You could use gravel, but as this is a more advanced build, I would recommend using like at least cobblestone, possibly stone bricks. Now this floor is rather expensive, but this is the floor of what I'm making as this extra space of this bunkhouse, I'm gonna make a kind of eatery or tavern area underneath, just to give it a bit more character. So, stairs are gonna start here? No, not here. Over here by the window. I think, yeah, I'm just gonna remove this window section and make it a in-depth wall. Maybe. It's passable, but no. It's closer. Yeah. Yeah. So it's got more of a solid base. And then you're gonna back your stairs like this, because now it looks like a proper reinforced stair. It doesn't just look like floating blocks, and you don't have the blocky problem of just adding full blocks to the underneath of it. I'm gonna add a railing. This is possibly, you don't have to add this, because this will take up even more space from the entrance and make it difficult to travel around here quickly, but I do just prefer it. And if you do it like this, where it looks like full blocks and it's not much of a problem. Oh, yes, and I'm just gonna use just half blocks here to give the roof like a 2.5 block gap, because I've only raised up the walls 2 instead of 3 as I work on the second floor now. Make sure that your head doesn't hit there, maybe clear that out, yeah. And then, yeah, add a railing to the inside of the stairway. And then we're just going to continue just making the second floor. The roof above this floor will be different. I'll be using wool for that roof as it fits the theme of this area. I'll show you a hay bale roof on a different section, but for this one specifically, I'm going to be using wool, because the wool we need to complete this roof is almost the exact same as we used for the tent. So they're a bit of a stair railing, so it's not a problem. Again, it is a kind of tight squeeze, so I'm going to bring this up again 3, just in every area, to give enough walking around space where it's not a problem. You could just leave this open as a balcony like this, and then just put a door over here on the side, but I think I'm going to wall this in. Yeah, I'll wall this in, and then it's going to be the fence connecting to the other wall. So, on this one, the pattern's a bit different. We're going to do one block. We're going to do one row of just solid wood to give the top of the stairs a bit more strength, so you can see the divide in the floors from the outside. And it looks like it's not a very thin, flimsy thing. So we're going to add 2 stairs here, 2 above as well. Yeah. So you aim for the top corner while being on the furthest point away, and it'll fix it up like that. It is a bit more difficult if you're trying to move quickly with building, as I am currently, because I'd like to show off the next features in the day. That's why I chose to start building right at the end of the day, so that the second floor would be open during the day, and I could do the final lighting features at night later. So, you're going to start with this. I'm just going to raise these blocks up, 1, because this is, what we're going for is a canvas wool roof that's linked down. So this side is going to be higher than the other side, because it's going to be like, it's draped over this edge and cascading down to match this. So you're just going to raise this up by 1. areas, and I'm gonna put a little frame around just the outside. Don't do the inside, because this is just to like contain the wool to make it look like it's been connected into the frame. That's not a problem. And again, just to cap off the top of the windows and finish up that pattern, because it's the same as it was below. Now these windows are large like the ones below, but we'll talk about that a bit later. Right now, how am I going to set this in? Okay, I think I'm gonna have these two edges, like the very edges where it goes sharply up from one floor to the other, and I'm just gonna connect them up with like a slow slanting thing, as well as giving this a bit of depth. So 2 stairs for the higher point here, and then just slabs the length down. I'll carry this out. Might change that last bit a bit. No, actually, yeah. And I'll put some fences up on the top of these poles as kind of similar to what we did before, where we were using them as tent pegs. This time we're going to be using them as canvas supports to produce a bunkhouse. How did I... Oh no, it's a different type of pattern on that side. Why is it different? Oh, yeah, it's 2 stairs, it's not 1 stair. Fix that in a minute. Yes, it is 2 stairs. Okay. Actually, yeah, no. No, I do want only a half block of space in between. So you're gonna finish this out to give it just a bit of depth over the top. And I'll show you how to do the roofing. This style of roofing, you're trying to make it look as though it's like a proper canvas that is like sagging over the pillars, that it's not a problem like that. And yes, this will be 2 stairs. Just fix up this edge. Okay, now for the hard part, which is the actual wool roofing. Roofing is already hard in a blocky game like this, but I think... yeah, so make sure not to have the wool go a full block past any point of air on the roof, because then it looks less like it's flowing over and more like it's just floating. And you'll see the middle here, it's got a sharp corner from where it's going to be connected. And this bottom section, just here, just fill this in. This will give you only two blocks of clearance on the lower floor, instead of the 2.5 that we have on the first floor. So it'll feel a bit like more claustrophobic, but it's not going to be any practical issue. I'm going to add fences down the middle here to make a supported just bridge across the length. I'm going to put it up here, and we're going to connect it to each of these big posts. And we're going to add a post on each point to act as a kind of tent area to hold in the canvas wool. And you can just bridge the gap on every side. I don't think I'll do that on the very ends of the roof, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna add some slabs here, give the roof a little bit more depth. could do slabs, but stairs do also work quite well. So I'm going to add 2 sets of stairs here. I'll show you different ways to use stairs to add depth to the outside, as well as also acting as a place where you can add just areas to leave light. And then, yeah, that's not bad. I'm gonna bring the top down. Yeah, so it's less of a sharp cut. This one, no, that's fine, because that's a top corner, and just add, so this is more difficult. You have to aim for the very edge of that in order to get it to turn, but here is fine enough. Aim for that very end block, the middle, and you can get some cornered stairs that look almost like the tops of pillars, so it's like it's really actually supporting the rest of it. That's fine. Now I'll break just these 2 and add that. Yeah. Okay. And now yeah, I think. Okay, this is so it looks like it's being held up in the middle from 2 higher points, so it's being controlled, and then I'm gonna run these across in thin layers to make it look like the ribs of a ship almost, where you can see the long panels have been covered. I'm gonna leave the corners. Yes, I'm gonna leave the corners because they are flared out higher. And then there's the windows. I'm gonna turn these into 1 space windows. So I'll show you. So this is the type of gap you would have had with the windows below if you chose flat back stairs and then the fence gate. But for these, because it's too tall, I'll just remove that one. That's fine. I'm just gonna leave 1 block gap on both top and bottom, and I'm gonna coat those with just I'm gonna coat those with half blocks. So it looks like you have just a 1 block window, but it's staggered in a way that you couldn't conceivably make it, and that the floor is just a little bit higher. So this will stop any and all spiders from getting into the 2nd floor. No arrows will come through here because of the way that it's designed. They have a lot of time, because they'll have to get it through. What they're aiming at is a half block, and they have to get it through either half block. They can't just cap it through. And you'll just go around and finish this on all of them. It's getting a bit dark. Yeah, so those are 2 types of windows, and then this is what I was talking about earlier, where you can use stairs to hang lights. So you put stairs the same way that you would just normally against the ground, just on every log here. So it looks like it's an extra feature that's been attached to the logs. Then I'm gonna go and get lanterns. You could use copper lanterns that are in the new update. They are a lot cheaper than the iron lanterns because copper is just everywhere. But I am gonna just use iron lanterns because I prefer them. And then you're gonna go around. You're just gonna add lanterns to the outside of the entire 1st floor. Look at that. And now this is enough light that you shouldn't have to worry about baby zombies or skeletons seeing you while you're inside at night and coming and harassing you. And I'm just gonna add a half block to each of these corners, maybe to the pillars on the inside as well, so that you can hang them, because you can't hang lanterns off of just regular half blocks. They need to act as a full block. That's a little close, but it's still walkable. You could extend that out or just have the L section I've made into your entryway. And this next area is the furnishing I talked about. If you connect it right up with the edge, then it will pull against the walls and make something else. So that's one table, but the one I prefer uses a trapdoor instead of a half block, so it looks more on one level. Over here in the corner, you can produce just something like that. For this one, it's going to be like a bar area, where you've got it like this. Yes. So now I'm going to go get a pressure plate. Pressure plates, they can't be placed onto shelves, so you can't just have like a bar like that. But they can be placed onto fences, and then you get a flat surface table like that. That's very easy to do. You get a fenced in area here. This is the one area I'm using an oak fence. You could put them in the windows as I've shown you how to do them, but that's not where we're going here. So you see here, it is lower, but it's still available. I think, yeah, I'm just going to replace these back portions here with a solid wood, so it looks like there's a wooden just spine coming through the building, through the middle, to give it more support. I'm going to add 2 there, just so I can hang lanterns. And so it just looks a bit more filled out. Let's see. You can just hang lanterns from fences like this. I mentioned this before in a previous video. It's one of the ways I prefer to do it. This area is still a little dark, so I'll just add ones to each of these pillars so that they look like hanging spots connected to the pillars. You could also do this outside if you don't want to use stairs. If you put it on a railing like that, then there's no chain to worry about. And up here, I'm going to show you how to make some pretty convincing bunk beds using a combination of fences, beds, and signs. So it looks like there's connecting, like, planks in between. So you're going to put 2 here, and that doesn't stop players from sleeping in the bottom bed. It'd stop regular mobs most of the time. Sometimes villagers can still do it. So this one has a total of 10 beds. You could do an extra one in the corner, but it's weird and it screws with the pattern a bit. So I'm just going to leave it at 10. So you put a fence down here, fence here, and a stripped log. You could put a stripped log here, but that blocks off the window a bit. So everywhere there's a window instead, I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, see. You could try and squeeze one in there, but no. Everywhere there's a window, you'll see it blocks it off instead. So you're going to go and take a half slab and put it there, so it looks the same level as the window. So now, that's already decently good for it, but now you're going to take oak signs, you're going to put it here, just along there, and now it looks like they're being connected by just a full plank across the side, while being like a mechanical feature. Make sure to get both sides, so it doesn't look weird, but yeah, look at that. You can also make boarded up doors using the same method. But anyway, that's a pretty good start. I think I'm going to change out those back windows, but at a later time. Right here, you can see all the different things. This Lex part is fully vanity. It's optional. I'm using grass blocks just because I can. You can take dirt, which I've shown in the chest, and just leave it there. And grass will grow on top of it after just a little bit. As soon as you get one grass block in the set, then you can put up either trapdoors or what I'm going to do, which is the bookshelves. Well, no, the item shelves. just as like a containing wall for all of these. So it looks like just a window side garden bed. And this is what will screw up the pathing of a lot of creatures, because now they have to go over stairs, a block, and a shelf in between a gap in order to get to you. So it is a decently safe thing to do for the first floor. You might still just want to have gates or just fences over the windows, or maybe even trapdoors, though those are more difficult to do. Red tulips are nice for this, but as you see, there's none in this biome. We do have a small flower patch here. I'm going to be using poppies and dandelions, because that's what's in the local area. You can use whatever flowers you want, whatever ones you can get your hands on, but for my local area, it's going to be this, because there's more dandelions than poppies. I'm going to do a 2-to-1 ratio with the poppy in the middle to keep a nice little pattern. Again, this is completely optional. This is just a bit of exterior color, because right now it's all the same one, just plain oak color. And I'm gonna add some leaves. You could add them just to the corners of these gardens to make like hedge bush corners, but I'm just gonna add mine to the front of the building to do like a green entryway, is what I'm planning to do. So just go to the front here and just here. You could pull them out like this. I think I'm just gonna do 2 blocks stacked on top of each other here. Gives it a bit more depth. And now for the final touches. I like to name my things, and I like to put paths out in front so they can connect to the rest of the world. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a bunkhouse and a tavern connection.